I don't think I told Melody about this, about our meetings. I swear.
Hey, you got a lot going on.
I do.
It's acceptable.
So long. Okay. I don't know why this is not working, but it's not. Oh, Nikki, are you feeling bad?
I think it's finally past me. I still got like a little bit of crud in my nose and stuff, but I feel so much better than I have.
I'm not real sure how you escaped this one.
Telling you, I don't think anybody can.
Hang on. Are you being a smartass when you said you're welcome for the email, Nicole? Why are you being?
I wrote that whole thing out. You gave me no credit. You're like, and this is a great email. And I was like,
Well, everybody knows if it's a great email worded like that, it came from you, not me.
Well, thank you.
But I did also steal and not give you credit and put some of that on Facebook.
Go figure. That's okay. On social media, I don't care. I just want credit in the office.
I'm going to show this. I'm going to send it to Sabrina and see if she wants it for her team from Nicole. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then there was something else I wanted to share with you guys today. Let me find it if I can. Where did I put that? Oh my gosh. What did I do with that? Hang on. Everybody's still getting on. Let me find something that I wanted to share. Where did I stick that? I don't even remember now where. Oh, I know where it is. Okay. I know where it is. What the heck? Man, this is so good, but it's so long. I think I still want to share it with y'all. And then let me pull up my notes from today. I'm sorry, y'all. I would have been here earlier. I got sick this morning. I've been a little bit too experimental with my diet lately.
What did you eat this time?
I can't even pinpoint anything in particular. I've had some junk food though. All right. I mean, like, I've allowed myself to eat a couple of little snack junk foods stuff. Not a good idea, apparently. I'm trying to get our slides to open up. Sabrina, if yours will open up on your end, my computer's acting really weird. I don't know if you can open the slides or not. All right, let's see. I've got chat open. I have the list of everybody. Oh, perfect. Thank you. And I totally forgot to tell Melanie or add her to the calendar invite. Melody. Otherwise, I think everybody's here.
Tell me how do I get to I know how to do this, but this morning I can't, oh, there's the slideshow.
Mhm.
Present not in Teams, and present it right here. Present from the beginning. There we go.
Cool. All right, but I ran across this last night. Someone had posted it in the Elevate coaching chat, and I was going to read it to you. It looks long, but I don't think it really is. I think it's because it's real small little column. All right. Welcome everybody. Sorry, we're all just like popped on and just chit chat. How many people have animal print on today? Nicole, you're animal, aren't you? Nikki, you got animal print on? Seemed like I saw someone else in animal print. Oh, no, it's just the three of us, it looks like. Well, welcome to the jungle. All
I have
right.
animal print earrings.
See, I think it's that warm feeling. It's gonna be cold today, y'all. I think they even said snow flurries, maybe, or
Today?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, Nicole's weather. Nicole, tell us, if we were in Chicago right now, it'd be cold and windy. And do y'all normally have snow on the ground?
Cold, it's windy, your bones feel like they're wet, you're freezing, and there's probably some slushy, ugly brown snow on the ground.
Oh, it's not white, pretty.
It's only white and pretty when it's fallen, and for a few hours after, if you live in the city, everybody drives over it and the exhaust stuff, so it's all gray and brown.
Oh, well, that's not very pretty. Okay, well, we'll just stay in Texas, just like you.
Like that plan.
Yeah. All right. So y'all listen to this cool little story. I'll back up just a little bit. It's January, towards the end of January. Typically this time of year, it feels like new and fresh and exciting, and I'm tired instead. And I think a lot of you guys are feeling the same thing. I mean, my gosh, it feels like year 2 now with COVID, and it doesn't seem like it'll go away, and we're all just ready to get on with our lives. Just be normal again. Be able to be in a room together. Be able to go to places and not have to worry about whether you're going to go and get exposed because you really want to go and hang out with friends because you're just over it. And sometimes that comes through in how we communicate with each other and how we work on loans and how we talk to customers. It's hard. It's tiring. So when I read this last night, it just reminded me that it's still an attitude. It's still a choice. The way we feel and how we communicate and how we handle customers, it's choice. It's a choice that we make every single day. So here's how the story goes. I was waiting in line for a ride at the airport. When a cab pulled up, the first thing that I noticed was the cab was polished and bright, shiny. Smartly dressed in a white shirt, black tie, and freshly pressed black slacks, the cab driver jumped out and rounded the car to open the back passenger door for me. He handed me a laminated card and said, "I'm Wusar Wasu, your driver. While I'm loading your bags in the trunk, I'd like for you to read my mission statement." Taken aback, I read the card and it said, "Wasu's mission statement: to get my customers to their destination in the quickest, safest, and smartest or cheapest way possible in a friendly environment. This blew me away, especially when I noticed that inside of the cab matched the outside of the cab, spotlessly clean. As he slid behind the wheel, Wasu said, "Would you like a cup of coffee? I have a thermos of regular and one of decaf." I said jokingly, "No, I'd prefer a soft drink." Wasu smiled and said, "No problem. I have a cooler up front with regular or Diet Coke, Lassie, I don't know what that is, water or orange juice." Almost stuttering, I said, "I'll take a Lassie since I've never had one before." Handing me my drink, Wasu said, "If you'd like something to read, I have Good Housekeeping Magazine, Reader's Digest, the Bible, and a Travel Plus Leisure magazine." As they were pulling away, Wasu handed me another laminated card. These are the stations. These are the stations that I get and the music they play. And if you'd like to listen to the radio, just let me know. And as if that weren't enough, Wasu told me that he had the heater, he had the heater on and asked if the temperature was comfortable for me. Then he advised me the best route to my destination for that time of day. He also let me know that he'd be happy to chat with me or be quiet if she would prefer him to leave her alone. Wasu smiled into the review mirror. No, she said, "Tell me, are you like this? Have you always been like this as a cab driver?" And he said, "No, not at all. In fact, it was only 2 years ago that he made the change. My first 5 years of driving, I spent most of my time complaining like the rest of the cabbies do. Then I heard about the power of choice one day. Power of choice is that you can be a duck or an eagle. If you get up in the morning expecting to have a bad day, you rarely will disappoint yourself. So stop complaining. Don't be a duck, be an eagle. Ducks quack and complain. Eagles soar above the crowd." That hit me, said Wasu. He continued and said, "It was about me. I was always quacking and complaining. So I decided to change my attitude and become an eagle. I looked around at the other cabs and their drivers. The cabs were dirty, the drivers were unfriendly, and the customers were unhappy. So I decided to make the changes. I put in a few at a time, a couple of changes a little at a time. And when the customers responded well, I did more. So I take it this has paid off for you?" I said, "It sure has," Wasu replied. "My first year as an eagle, I doubled my income from the previous year. This year, I'll probably quadruple it. My customers call me for appointments on my cell phone or leave a message on it." Wasu made a great choice. He decided to stop quacking like ducks and start soaring like eagles. That really hit me last night because I feel like I've been a little whiny lately because I'm tired. But it's a choice. It's a choice in how we show up every day. It's a choice in how we talk to our customers. It's a choice in how we feel. It's all a choice. So if you don't like how you're feeling, you don't like how your day is going, make a choice to make a change because it's all up to us. So I put that in the realtor group. So if anybody wants to copy that over or read it, or if you want me to post it in chat to remind you guys, I will. Don't be a duck, be an eagle. All right. I have Patrick and Brandy in my office, and Brandy. Hey, but Brandy's got animal print on too. So at least. And Patrick's just an animal. All right, you guys, January 2022, got a couple of updates we wanted to go over with you guys, and then also just make sure that we're all on the same page. It's harder than hell to stay on one page when everybody's all scattered out. So, as a reminder, you guys are doing video. I cannot stress the importance of video. People are reading less and less. People want connection. People want relationships. They miss being together. And video is just one more way for us to try to connect and be humans to people who probably never met us in person. But whenever you're doing video, be very cautious of what's behind you. So blur your background like Ashley's got. If you are not in a great background, you're better off blurring your background than using the virtual meeting backgrounds. There are some virtual meeting backgrounds you guys are welcome to use. However, it's just funky because when you move, your figure, your silhouette just moves with you and it just looks cheesy. So you're better off just blurring your background if it's not what you want it to be. Also, when you're doing video, just make sure that the audio is good. Most people are not you're going to get their attention by sending the video and for them seeing movement. But if they can't hear your message, they're definitely not going to stay on that video. So make sure your audio is good too. And then remember that marketing does put together the social covers for you. So if you ever are going to do a page, especially loan officers, go to the marketing in SharePoint and pull one of those backgrounds for your cover pages. They change them up throughout the season, so they're fresh. Also, for your email signatures, there are email signatures in SharePoint if you want to freshen yours up. And if you don't already have the JD Power, I would go in there and grab the email signature that you want to use off of SharePoint, but get that JD Powers on there. That speaks a lot to the level of service that we provide. So it's in their face, we're the best, without you guys saying we're the best. So quit negotiating your deals. No. All right, you guys, we were covering 7 habits of highly effective people. I'm teaching this on a weekly basis, mastermind, more with workbook and exercises starting tomorrow, actually. We had talked about the first one, which was, holy shit. What's the first one? Oh, hang on.
Be proactive.
Be proactive. Good gosh. Y'all have y'all's handouts. Being proactive. We talked about that before, and I just want to briefly go over that. You guys, we've been doing this for a while. We can typically predict the way a transaction is going to go down. And we are pretty familiar with all of the gotchas that we need to pay attention to. Being proactive is making sure that we aren't reacting. We are being proactive and prepared for whatever might come up and how we're going to handle it if so. You're better off explaining this. Nicole and I talked about this yesterday whenever it comes to interest rate and extended locks. You guys, we can lock construction loans for 240 days. But from a proactive standpoint, you've got to educate the buyer as to why that's not a good idea in this market. They can't even predict. Huh?
Not for 361.
I thought so, but I didn't want to overspeak. So that's a long time. 360-day lock, we could lock. But what are some of the reasons why that wouldn't be a good idea? Nikki, you're new to the business, but you're new to mortgage, but not the banking side. Why on a construction loan would locking a loan like if I started construction today and I was freaked out over interest rates and what they were going to do in the next year, and I asked you if I could lock in my rate, why would you tell them that may not be a good idea?
I mean, your construction, you could run out of money, have to borrow more. It could take longer than what you expect it to take to get done.
Yeah, there's, Nikki comes from the banking side, so she saw a lot of construction loan and remodel projects. How many times, Nikki, did people have to call you and go, we're out of money?
Quite a bit, especially last year.
Yeah. And so, locking the rate, it's easy enough to change the loan amounts, but what about supplies? What about subs? There is absolutely nothing about building a house that you have any control over, except for your emotions. That's it. But I think people need to know we do have extended rate locks. But it's not a good idea. It wasn't a good idea when the market was stable. It's certainly not a good idea now. And so if we don't mention that we have it available and we don't educate people as to what it means, what's the pros, what's the cons, don't give advice. If we don't mention that stuff and they find out that our competitor down the street does offer it and just locks them in without educating them, then we could lose the deal. So I think being proactive is just understanding what is available, understanding the situation, and educating our customers and our realtors to be prepared for what ifs as they come up, because they're going to. We just don't know if, when, and how many. Number 2 was starting with the end in mind. And whenever you're starting with the end in mind, for us, it's super easy. The end for us is a closing date. It's a funding. It's a transaction that closes on time and smoothly with great communication. That's the end in mind for us, and happy customers that refer us business. So if that's what we're going for, then everything that we do, you reverse back into it. How do I make sure that that is the result of us doing business together? And then, damn it. God, dang it. I'm a hot mess express today. Okay, the third habit, first things first. The hardest part of our job, I think, every day, and Nicole, this gives Nicole hives sometimes, whenever there's a long list of all of these things that you have to do, it is sometimes really hard to prioritize. And sometimes prioritizing means squeaky wheel gets the grease. And sometimes you get to actually prioritize based on priority order. So a good day to me is when everything on my list got done. I feel like I can go home. But guess what? It doesn't happen that often, because you make this beautiful list and then customers come along and go, oh my gosh, I need a pre-approval letter real quick. I'm fixing to make an offer. Or Tammy will get one of those calls from an appraiser that says, you know, we're coming in short and it's a transaction that's fixing to close or needs to close right away. And we got to stop what we're doing and scramble and try to get all of the information to all the right people. So prioritizing, I think, is one of the hardest parts of our job, because we have so many priorities. And just when you think you got your priority list already all lined out, then an emergency happens, or what people perceive to be an emergency happens. So a lot of times you go home at the end of the day and your list isn't done. And for me, that's the hardest thing, because I always feel like a good day it's a good day when my list is complete. And so then I still work and 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 work until my list is done. And then it's midnight. So you guys, just knowing when to stop is super hard. But that priority list of what really has to be done today, and knowing at the end of the day, I did my best and my best is good enough, I'm going home, is probably an area that most of us need to work on, because it's just really hard to find that stopping point. And we need it. So whenever I was looking at some other things that you can do, knowing that priorities are just, and when we just have emergencies that pop up, so it just makes it super difficult, is make room in your day to take a deep breath, to pause, blocking out that time in your day just to take a break. You know, we used to be a lot better at going outside and swinging in the hammock or walking in the yard or sitting out on the back deck. You guys have all got to get back to the point where you've got a little bit of room in your schedule, because whenever you take the break and take a deep breath, You're a lot less reactive and emotional. And then it's a lot easier to figure out what is really the most important thing for me to do today, knowing that I have got to stop and go home and be mom or wife or daughter or sister or friend or just be yourself. We got to get back to it. And I'm speaking to myself as much as anybody else, but I think you guys are all have slipped back into overworking yourself and not taking those breaks. So Ashley, we need your ass back in the office because you were good at reminding us to get outside. Okay, we need COVID to go away so that everybody feels safe again back in the office so that we can take those breaks.
I enjoy living.
Yeah. Well. I did hear that. Well, I was gonna say we all do, but anyway, there were several things I was gonna say, so I stopped. No, all good stuff. I mean, you don't need to get sick. I don't need you to get sick. I like your kids as grandkids. All right, 2021. I wanted to remind you guys how amazing y'all are. Look at all of the things that we accomplished in 2021. So oftentimes 2020 at the end of the year just comes and goes so quickly. We don't stop and recap really what took place in 2021, the good things. So we made a list out. Sabrina, this past year, Whitesboro News, which is a People's Choice Award, voted Sabrina as favorite loan officer and Guild Mortgage as favorite mortgage company. Did y'all know that? Yeah. That's the third or fourth year in a row that we were voted favorite mortgage company. It's just not something we talked about, so I wanted to be sure to do that.
And Michelle, we didn't ask for that. We didn't promote it. We didn't go out and try to get the votes. That's just pure love.
Pure love. Love it. So BJ, isn't that the third or fourth year?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah. We didn't even know they had the award until one year they announced that we were the winner, and we're like, huh? So, and then the Herald Democrat this past year, we got Best of Texoma again, and I think that's 5th or 6th year in a row. Yeah, and that was pure love too. We did not go out and promote that like we had in the years past. And then Sherman Chamber of Commerce, last year we won Best or Small Business of the Year. Next Friday is their awards luncheon. It's live and in person instead of virtual. And we were nominated again as Small Business of the Year. And then I was nominated again for Community Leader. And then President's Club. You guys, that was pretty hard this year because we had so many refinances, and you got to make President's Club off of purchase units for the most part. So we were able to accomplish that this year. And then the JD Power Award, we have bounced back and forth. For those of you guys who are new to us, the JD Powers, Rocket Mortgage or Quicken, whatever you want to call them, whatever they want to call themselves today, and Guild bounce back and forth with the first place. Gosh, for 3, 4, 5 years, we've bounced back and forth between first and second place in the customer service with Quicken. That's a pretty big deal. I don't think our customers and our realtors realize that we beat out Rocket Mortgage for customer service. They spent a ton of money promoting that, and we won this year. So you guys brag on that. Make sure your email signature shows it. It is a big deal.
That's what I think about Rocket. Quicken used to have the worst reputation, and they have literally built their brand on advertising and marketing. I mean, they're the huge NFL Super Bowl playoffs. They're the actual sponsor. So, but to me, it tells me, you know, if we're that good, they're getting better too. So we just have to continue to get better because
Yeah.
they're doing something right too for them to be our competition. As
For
number
customer
one.
service, yeah.
I
when
know,
they
because
have-
it used to be so, they used to be horrible.
Yeah.
So,
They also are sponsoring the HGTV 2022 Dream Home.
Yeah.
well, and I forget what we learned, but it's like, I don't know, 30% of their profit, it was like an unbelievable amount is all advertisement. They have like poured their money into branding and just being all over. So we see them all the time. Tracy, you look so cute with your hair and glasses. Sorry. Very studious. Oh,
She matches her shirt.
cute. I've got Destiny's little true love. Anyway, off the subject, but
No, I was thinking about that too. How much money, it's two different models that still, but still the focus is on customer service and being number one in customer service.
well, I
Let's
think
do it
they
two different
were,
ways.
weren't they starting a huge coaching program too?
Yeah, they were.
So it makes a difference.
Mhm. And then the Scotsman's Guide numbers, those will be coming out again soon. So we'll see where we land there. That's gonna be hard. A lot of people did a lot of loans last year, so it'll be interesting to see those numbers. Speaking of numbers, we ended up, I can't remember how many units that is as a branch. Let's see. 317.
It's on the next slide.
Okay. Oh, that's showing 836 and that's not what because that included Andrew's loans, but that list, we weren't able to find Andrew's loans. Because that's not how much, anyway.
Yeah, his
I'll-
are no longer there, but our branch still keeps his in the total.
Okay, so Sabrina has been she's you guys beat us. Congratulations. So oh, holy cow. Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to share that information in just a second. So congratulations. I know you guys have been that's a big deal because Sabrina's been trying to beat me for years. So good job. Then Brandy had a really good year. Last year you did right at 60 units and this past year you did 57. So right at 60 units. What's Circle of Honor?
Way up there.
Is it? Okay.
Like 104 or something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
So Patrick and Andrew together did 132 units last year. Huh? So this was the first year that Andrew made Circle of Honor. So Patrick, you are going in your dad's place to take his award. So we got confirmation of that last week. So when we do go to Vegas in May, and it will be in May, y'all, I can't tell you exactly yet, but I should know maybe today. It might be tomorrow. We'll know when in May. I know it won't be the first week, and I don't think it'll be the last week. But at that time, you and a +1 get to go. I didn't know if you wanted Mary to come or you wanted to bring your wife. But anyway, you'll get to accept the award on your dad's behalf. Yeah.
Did you say for sure it's in May?
Yeah, it's for sure in May.
Well, I hope they don't do it at the end for all these graduating seniors.
I don't think so. I know it won't be the first week, but I'm pretty sure it won't be the last week. The problem is trying to find a date and time that Vegas has an opening for that many people, that many rooms, and just the accommodations, and then all of the speakers that they had to postpone. So it's a bunch of moving parts. You guys, our priority list is pretty big, but I can't even imagine trying to recreate that whole event. So total, we did 178, almost $180 million last year with 836 units. So I still can't help but to think Sabrina and I started this branch hoping to close 24 million a year. That's what that's what we started with. That was our budget, 24 million between the two of us in a year.
So the red and the green percentages on there is like the 7.2% is compared to 2020, and then the 39.5 is compared to 2019.
Oh, good. That's cool that they've got that built in like that. So yeah, we didn't hit the same numbers we did the year before, but the year before was just a bizarre year. So from the monthly standpoint, December was a great month for Sabrina. Brandy had a really good month. And then Tiffany closed a bazillion loans because Sabrina had a bazillion loans.
The Wegley team had a great month.
Oh, yes, Wegley team had a great month. And then Tammy, I'm sorry, I didn't bring it. I'm working on it though for January.
Hey, I was off the whole last week of Christmas and sick, so it's all good.
Okay, all right. As long as you're not mad at me. I try to keep you happy and busy.
Well, I split them with Kim and Jamie too, whatever. So it's all good.
Yep. And then Patrick had 7 units. You guys, I want y'all to realize Patrick was hired 2 years ago.
Yeah, just about.
Almost 2 years ago. And when he started, remember what the market was like. It was the beginning of COVID. And we had no idea if the market was about to fall on its ass. And then they passed the bill where I was no longer worried about short sales and foreclosures. But then the rates just like fell. And we got really, really busy with refinances. So when Patrick came along, Andrew put him on the database to just do refinances. That's how he learned the business, is doing refinances. So when Andrew got sick in July, Patrick then had to learn purchase business pretty quick, and Sarah, you too. And so between Sarah and Patrick, they had to keep everything going. And of course, Patrick's dad's super sick. So he had the emotions of that, plus now having to learn to purchase business and start taking care of his dad's realtor relationships. And then all of those customers that they had that they were working, that his dad was working with, not knowing how long he was going to be sick, when he was going to come home and pick up the business and handle it himself. And then Patrick could go back to doing refinances and gradually learn the purchase business. Well, as we all know, it didn't happen that way. So Patrick now has had to learn the purchase business. He's had to go out and get his own relationships, because the realtor relationships his dad had, they don't match Patrick. And just because Patrick did business with them doesn't mean that they are going to do, I mean, Andrew did business with them doesn't mean that they're just going to automatically send their business to Patrick. So for him to relearn the business, adjust to his dad, who was also his mentor, not being in the office, relearn the business and gain his own relationships. He and Sarah have done a beautiful job of getting out there and just hustling and reestablishing relationships and getting into the purchase business. So he is learning purchase quickly. He's learning, like the rest of us, the hard way, because there's really no other way to learn this business, I don't think. If there is, please share. And so he almost hit $2 million in December. So great job, Patrick and Sarah. We've got a couple of new employees. Nikki, fun fact, she's really Nicole. We got 2 Nicoles, but we got one that's goes by Nikki. Nikki comes.
Her name is Nikki Nicole.
What?
My name is Nikki Nicole.
Oh, well, I can't read. Nikki, your mom called you, named you on your birth certificate, Nikki Nicole.
Yes, she sure did.
What is the story behind that?
Well, my oldest sister at the time was 15, and she got to name me, and she was obsessed with the soap opera that has the name Nikki. And I guess Nicole just sounded really good with it.
Nikki Nicole, your mom let your 15-year-old sister name you Nikki Nicole.
Yeah, I guess after 5 kids, she was just like, I ran out of names, so I'll choose it.
That is so are you the baby? Oh
Mhm.
yeah, you're the youngest of 5 kids. Oh my gosh. What an interesting household. Nikki Nicole. I love it. Your mom sounds cool.
She's pretty cool.
And you have a 12-year-old Boston Terrier named Beans. Does that mean he eats beans and he farts or what?
Oh, he's just our little Boston baked beans.
Boston baked beans. I love it. So Nikki started with us a couple of weeks ago. She and Bree are really good friends. And Nikki's got all the banking background, so that's super helpful. Brandy worked in the banking business forever. So she could swap those war stories with you.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then we have Melody, who I totally forgot to tell about this meeting. So I didn't put it on our calendar. I didn't add her to the group. I told y'all in the beginning, I'm sucking. I'm serious. So the fun facts, I'm going to actually read here. Y'all can read too. What did she say? What are they saying? Oh,
Yes, it was.
okay. We suck together.
Totally joking.
So Mel's got a lot of theater background, and she actually performed at the Kennedy Center. We'll have to ask her all about that. She's a living kidney donor. Interesting. Ooh, I want to know more about that too. Dang it, I wish she was on the call. I'd ask her. And then her best friend roommate is an actor on The Walking Dead. So her background is branding, obviously theater. She still is a screenwriter. So that great idea that Will had to create a live mystery dinner around Clue, the board game Clue. She's actually going to write that for us so we can do that in October. Yeah, I still want to do it in the dark at night in our building and see who lasts. I think that would be fun. Oh, we got a couple January birthdays. Bree is on the 14th, which is past. And then Jess has a birthday on the 28th, which is next Friday. Speaking of the 28th, you guys, the annual Realtor Award dinner is on Friday, the 28th. It is in Choctaw and it is formal attire. It is cocktail, cruise ship, something is the theme. What is it, Sabrina? So like, I wasn't.
Cruising
Cruising.
into something. So you're
Yeah,
supposed to like
cruising
be in
into-
front of, when you go on a cruise, I've never been, but you stand in front of the stairs with your cocktail attire and take a picture. I bet you anything that's going to be the background for our pictures. The
Probably.
stairs.
Yeah. Well, so I need to know who wants to go because I got to get tickets. We have a table of 8. I just want to make sure if we have more than 8 people that I get extra tickets. So Brandy's going to be gone. I know Tracy was going to bring Kate with her, Will and Blaine, Sabrina and Sean, Jeff and myself. Tammy, you coming? Oh, there's Mel. Mel, I forgot to invite you to the party.
Crashed anyway, made it anyway.
I went
Yeah.
back, Michelle. So you
Yeah,
can
so
talk.
wait just a second. Let me finish counting. Who else wants to come? Bueller. Okay, so I guess the table of 8 is enough. All right.
Some of them are too young to know what that even is, Michelle.
I know what, but I was looking at you and watching you shake your head. I was like, yep, Tammy gets it because she's my age. Patrick laughed, so his dad's made him watch that with him. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Dylan knows because he keeps up with old movies. What did you perform at Kennedy? Space, not Space Center.
It was a scholarship showcase when I was in college. We would go and compete with different universities and colleges in our region, and then they would choose actors to go and represent those schools at the Kennedy Center. So I was chosen to go and represent Southeastern's theater department.
Too cool. What'd you perform?
A monologue and a scene. It was a showcase. Would you like me to perform them for you now?
Do you still remember it?
Oh gosh, no.
Oh.
But I sure could make it up.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't know any different. We weren't there.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
And then you donated your kidney?
I did. I donated my left kidney to a very good friend of mine almost 12 years ago, and her disease has been in complete remission ever since. She started running marathons. She became a superintendent of a school district, like her whole life. Yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done, probably.
That is so cool. Yes. I'm nervous about donating my blood next month, and you gave a kidney.
I did, but you know what? It was such a simple process that if anybody ever wants to know about what that's like, I do love to share that with people, because it's a pretty simple process and it really changes somebody's life.
Yeah, I want to hear more about it later. Too cool. All right. Nikki Nicole and Mel is a performer. All right. Those are our two new people. And then we have Jess. Oh, fun facts. I'm going to read this time, actually. Oh yeah. Jess has got a sweet 1-year-old JJ. I know you enjoyed making floral arrangements, Jess. Well, holy cow. Why have I been fighting that? You know, Brandy does too. You guys need to be, yeah. Holy cow.
JJ isn't quite one yet. I just have, his birthday's coming up in March.
It's close enough. Yeah, that's close enough. Ooh, I love the smell of fresh cut grass too. I told Alex she needed to make a candle with that smell. I'm gonna get her to buy that scent just for you and me, Jess.
Thank you.
Oh, what? Fresh cut grass. Oh, that's the best smell. Oh my gosh. All right.
She needs to make the one that smells like rain, like that, you know, the rain smell.
Ooh, yeah, like, yes. And then Destiny. Oh, sweet Destiny. What? You have 50 fish, a turtle, and a dog, and she has Preston. 50 fish, a turtle, and 2 dogs. Destiny. If she could do anything, she would open a homeless shelter. Me too, sister. That provides different educational programs. Let's do it, Destiny. I'm serious. I would so do that. No, we can all live like 10 lives at one time. It's all right. So
I fed homeless out the back porch, the old office.
yes, you sure did. Tammy just about darn near invited them to dinner. Well, Jeff feeds them all the time. Sometimes we share liquor. Y'all, we let Willie dance. We were filming a video at Skid Row, and Willie shows up, and I'm like, Willie, if you're gonna stand in the shot, you're gonna have to just dance with us, or you gotta go.
You need to explain who Willie is in Denison. People don't know that.
Was he the guy with the flags?
No, no. I haven't seen him in the last couple of weeks, actually. No, Willie lives downtown and walks the streets, and I think he thinks he's part of our family. And so when we're there at the shop, he just loves to show up and make himself at home until he gets in trouble for being obnoxious and begging too many people for money. And then, but anyway, he showed up that day, and we went ahead and let him, he recorded him dancing in the video. Tammy, I got to send you the video. He got down, didn't he, Serena?
Yeah, but what I know of him from the past, apparently he used to dress up like Michael Jackson and go to electric company, you know, down there in Denison. So like literally he thought in this video he was breakdancing
Michael
it,
Jackson.
going down, and he was Michael Jackson moonwalking it. He was giving it his all.
Oh, it was great. Anyway, so yeah, Destiny, let's just open a homeless shelter. I was talking to Racy Guest about that. There is a movement downtown about that. So if you're serious, I'll put you in touch with all those people that are working on that. 2022 goals and intentions. So the Castle team, we met. I was just having a mental blank on setting goals. And so we decided that we'd just switch gears and set intentions instead. Tammy, did you finish yours up?
It's in my drawer. I look at it and glance at it every once in a while. It was really good. It was really good.
Put it back on top of your desk. Because we're going to do this on a monthly basis. The Castle team's got, we'll do some monthly classes starting in February. And depending on how that goes and whether anybody else wants a second class, and we can always add to that. But I want you guys to be really thinking about what the customer experience you are looking for, having the end in mind, and putting first things first. What do you have to do in order to deliver that experience? And then really think about what your life in general, and what do you want out of life? I mean, what is really your intention? Why are you here today? It's not just to do alone. So whenever you realize your life has got so much more meaning than just showing up and doing the work, I remind you all the time, you guys are making dreams come true. You're changing lives. And this is an overwhelming process. Can y'all imagine right now dealing with people sick, family members sick, coworkers sick, your friends sick, and trying to figure out how to keep your house ready to be shown at any time with no moment's notice. Someone wants to come look at your house this afternoon. You're at work. You know you left the house a mess when you left this morning. Then you got to worry, am I going to stop what I'm doing and go home and try to clean things up, or just leave it as is? And then after you do stop what you're doing and you go home and straighten up your house, guess who cancels at the last minute and all of a sudden doesn't even come look at your house? But yet you found this house that you truly love, and you know you can't make an offer on it because it's multiple offers and you don't even have a contract on yours, and now someone just no-showed you after you stopped in the middle of your work to go home and straighten up. And then the mortgage company calls and says, hey, we need you to upload one more pay stub. The one you sent me, we can't see, or whatever the case may be. You guys, please know and understand.
Is that how you envision?
Yeah, I do.
I need you to let it.
Yes, that's how I envision it. That's what they're saying. Whenever they get their damn emails that say, we can't open your blah, blah, blah. It's the wrong format, blah, blah, blah. I'd be pissed.
I'm surprised she didn't start doing this. Usually when she's mocking people, she sticks her nose up in the air and she's like,
anyway, you guys, so it is a happy experience in the very end, but you know it's a very painful experience throughout the entire process. So be very mindful of that, knowing that what we do affects people's lives all day, every day. USDA has got some new training. Again, the one thing you don't want to do, and this has happened to us, I know on the Castle team and likely everybody else too, is you lose a loan because someone thought that they could get something somewhere else that you hadn't talked about with them. So their assumption was we didn't have it to offer. USDA is one of those. So when people call and say, hey, I'm trying to buy a house with this little money out of pocket, you need to say the words USDA. We have USDA. We have a couple of grant programs. Of course, if you're a veteran, we can use the VA financing options. There's a couple of different ways to go to buy a house with zero down. We'll check them all out. That's what we do really, really well. But if you don't mention USDA and a friend that they work with did say, hey, you know, my sister just bought a house and they used USDA and didn't have to have any money. Well, yeah, they had to have money. That's not the full story, but still, if you don't offer what we have available and don't mention it, and then you can always say USDA is super hard. My concern is your credit won't qualify, whatever, you better mention it. So whether, and there's gonna be times, the Wegley team has used USDA quite a bit last year. Right? How many USDAs do you think you did, Sabrina?
We don't do a whole lot, but we try it because we would rather do USDA than a grant program, you know, because we service USDA loans and we want to retain those customers. But USDA is a lot harder. They're very strict on credit and debt ratio. So, and Gus is super finicky. So you just make sure.
But tell us, what are you looking for on the credit report to determine whether or not they might be a good USDA candidate?
I look for score, like, because you know, if it's probably under a 640, it's, even though they say it's okay, it's not going to go Gus. They don't have any reserves, it's not going to go Gus. If they have over a 43% debt ratio, more than likely 90%, it's not going to go Gus. So you can
don't you need 3 active trade lines with 12 months of active history?
You used to, but I think they decreased that to 2, I think. But
Okay.
one thing about USDA, you have to remember there's a lot. But if you have 2 borrowers on it that are unmarried, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, roommates, siblings, they have to qualify on their own, basically. So it's, and that's on a manual underwrite. If you can get a Gus approval, it's fine. But if you're trying to do a manual and qualify them together, their credit has to qualify on a manual. They say stand alone, you know, they have to stand alone. So you have to remember that too. If people have 20% down, even if, you know, if they're selling their house, like, well, we're not going to own another home. We don't own 2 homes, we'll sell it. But if they have 20% down, they are eliminated from USDA qualifying. So,
And remember, if the property has shop, pool, or any of those ancillary buildings, outbuildings of any kind, they are not going to be given any value. So you might have a loan to value issue too.
did the shop thing go away?
I don't recall seeing that. Does
Okay.
anybody know the answer to that?
Well, when we take that training, whoever takes it, I would like for someone to take some cliff notes and just list some of the highlights, something they learned new. I mean, if you could just email me things you didn't know or you learned about USDA, then I can put something together for everybody. So
That'd be great. So whoever's good at paying attention, please take that class. And put in the team chat if you're taking it, so we know. The auto lock extension, you guys want to cover that? I have got to look for my crystal that I dropped because I don't want to break it by stepping on it. So I'm listening if someone will go over that part.
it's just a new, it's a new way in Marcom to auto extend instead of the old way we had to do it. It's a lot easier. There's just a click of a button. And also they said, correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, that if, we talked about this yesterday, if the lock comes to expire and it doesn't fund, it automatically extends. I don't
Correct,
know.
but they charge an additional fee to the branch to do so. But if we forget and let one expire, then Guild covers our ass for us and the auto extends it. And then just charges us a convenience fee along with the extension fee.
And so they're just trying to make it a little bit, that's easier so we don't forget. And then the auto extension where we used to have to type in more, now when you put the loan number in, it automatically recognizes and it'll pop up a window that says, you know, do you want to auto extend, and you just hit submit.
All right, y'all keep covering that. I didn't, what I will say about this, there's a couple of programs that we're in the process of working on. We as in Guild is working with Fannie and Freddie to do something like we had before with the Home Depot gift cards. Y'all remember that? So they're trying to come up with some affordable housing because that is an issue with appreciation, cost of living going up so much. So be on the lookout for that. I have not read about this new home view, home ownership education and the framework. Other than there's more universal and it's free now and it works with the
Yeah.
grant programs.
Fannie Mae just came out with this. You can still use the framework and any HUD courses, but the framework isn't waiving the fee anymore. So you have to pay $75, or you can just do this home view and it's free, and Fannie Mae accepts it. So
We also hired, we hired one person in particular that's supposed to be working on some diversity programs too. So just be on the lookout for some programs very specific to Guild, like they are programs that we created with Fannie and Freddie that is different than anything else anybody else has to offer. So it's pretty cool that they're working on those initiatives. Housekeeping, your mortgage term screen, the first payment auto populates. What? I don't understand what you're saying there, Ashley.
it's just a new, where we used to have to automatically tap in estimated closing date, funding date,
Oh,
payment
yeah.
date. Now it automatically populates 2 months later. So it's just an added time saver, more efficiency.
But it says from old loan now.
Yeah, no,
I
that,
didn't
okay,
know.
so it's mixing two different things because now the refis, all of your old loan information populates into the new loan on refis too. So two different updates merged into one.
Okay. So just check your screens. If you're copying over the loan, this is what I tell my team all the time. If we don't copy and update an application that we currently have, and we make them go back online to do a new application, why would they do business with us instead of just going online with somebody else? Like if we don't make it simple for them to come back to us and do business, and we don't recognize who they are and, make it like they're returning back to us as friends in the business, then there's no reason for them to do business with us if we're going to treat them like strangers and send them back online. So copying over an application is a courtesy, and it makes people feel special, and it gives them a reason to use us instead of calling somebody else. However, when you do that, you have to be super careful when you're in MyKey that you've updated everything instead of, you got to go screen by screen by screen by screen. Don't skip screens just because you copied over a loan, because it's going to cause problems. Tammy's nodding her head in a big way, about to jump up and down out of her seat, because
Y'all,
there's been too many times we haven't done that.
You can't just say, oh, are you still with the same employer? Literally read it out. We have a guy that we pulled over his application. This is the 5th time I'm working on a refinance for him. All other times that we've done a refinance, they couldn't work. He didn't have enough equity. Now he has enough equity. And he goes, oh, well, I'm like, you're self-employed? Because we literally pulled you over 6 months ago and you said you were still with T-Rock Roofing, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I kind of been self-employed this whole time, blah, blah, blah. And so now it's just like, we have it all pulled over. We've got it locked. If he wasn't self-employed, we'd be fine on income. We closed his loan in 2020, but he's claiming now that it's all self-employed, because when I asked for pay stubs, he said he didn't have any. And I was like, okay, well, this doesn't work. So make sure that you actually read it off to them, because even it's technically, he still works for the same company, but now he's like an owner of the business. So it would have been the same company. It's just until we got documents, we would have been screwed.
Well, and also the marriage part of it, are you married
Oh,
now?
yes.
Are you divorced? You just have to ask that question, because a lot happens in 2 years. Or do you have to, you have to ask the dependent question.
The dependents
if they're
too.
still unmarried, but this guy now has a 2-year-old, well, you know what next question you need to ask,
Yeah.
So that first page is super important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, copying over is for the convenience of the customer. It does not make it easier for us. So you still have to go screen by screen. The new credit report format, it does look a little bit different. They're trying to make it user-friendly, and it goes into effect already yesterday.
It's awesome. I think it goes into effect next Monday. I don't know why it says the 18th, but I think it's Monday. But it's if you didn't read that bulletin, it looks like it's going to be much cleaner. They pull out the disputed accounts. It's one of the first things you see, so you don't have to search for those anymore. They're right there. So we have no excuses to miss those. I like it a lot better.
Yeah.
Michelle, that says the new credit report format, see email from January 19th with example, not that it starts January.
Yeah.
9th.
Okay. Well, you guys make sure that you're familiar with it and pay attention to what you are looking at in terms of collections and charge off and disputed accounts, because they're going to be in different spots, but it is all grouped together, like things are grouped together. So it's pretty cool.
See where there's like collections.
Huh?
No, it's just derogatory. So
Derogatory.
there's gonna be closed accounts and derogatory accounts.
And just, and so, and then your AUS runs, y'all, for those of you guys who are newer to the business, there is a limit for how many times you can run a loan through AUS. Guess what the limit is?
75,
No,
I bet 25.
24.
We had one
More
that
than
was,
that, because I had one that had ran like 50 times.
that's what I was gonna say. But I know in the past, we have ran out of AUSs at 20 something. So I
yeah,
was shocked
Well,
about that.
and now the AUS will say this, it'll have that red flag. This has been run excessively, you know, please review this carefully.
I
And we
don't,
have
re-
to, as a processor, we have to write a letter of explanation on why.
yeah, you do.
I just ran. I have an application that has been active for 2 years. Literally every time I reach out to her, every 4 months, she wants to renew. She doesn't want it withdrawn. It's Carrie Williams, Michelle. Literally, it's literally going on 2 years. I've run AUS. Mind you, it's been the same damn file for almost 2 years. I have run AUS on this thing so many times that now it won't run. It's running refer eligible, and I'm like, can I just pull her over as a new app? Because technically, if you look over the span of me running AUS, it's not really that much over 2 years. But because it's all in one file, I'm just like, I've never seen that flag before, and I just got it, and now it will not run.
I would definitely withdraw and open up.
Yeah.
Anyone? Okay.
Yep. But, and that's what I was gonna say. Here's the deal. None of us can tell you how many times is the maximum number of times that you can run AUS. So
once you
it's
hit it,
not
you
like
hit it.
we can say, and even after we ran AUS several times, Tammy, how many times do you run AUS after you have the file before you get it approved? I mean, before you get it funded?
Well, I'll run it when I submit it, and then we have to rerun it whenever the appraisal and all that comes in, and if any taxes or insurance changes. And underwriting, depending on who the underwriter is, they will run their own. So it really just kind of, I mean, at minimum, it's probably ran 5 or 6 times minimum, I would say.
Yeah. Tiffany, you agree? So my point is, if we ran it the maximum number of times on the front end, or we ran it, 20 something times on the front end, you guys could get to all the way through underwriting and run it for the final time and get locked out. And now we can't do the loan. So, and once you get that message and you can't do the loan, you can't do the loan. Like they say, you're done running this loan. So my point is, you guys don't run AUS until you have all the information in there to run it. And don't, change the assets by $500 expecting it to run if it's not even 1 month of PITI. So be very strategic with your runs. Did I cover that correctly, Ashley? The trick for PIWs. Of course, we all want PIWs. Appraisals are taking forever, and we don't ever know if they're going to come in or not. And when they do come in, whether they're going to go through QC. So PIWs are golden. Ashley, what was your trick for PIWs?
We lost a PIW when we went to run it. Couldn't figure out why. Well, the address had changed from County Road to CR. So when we put it back to County Road and ran AUS again, we have a PIW again. So on those, make sure that you're spelling the address out completely so that AUS can pick it up.
Yep. Also LTV. If your LTV looks, if you don't need an 50% LTV, lower the value a little bit and run. Just check and see how the LTV would change your pricing before you do that, if you've got it locked. Take home your laptops on Friday. Nobody knows when they're going to get sick. There's no reason to have to come up here and get your laptop because you're sick over the weekend and you know you can't come in on Monday or you're in quarantine. So just take your laptops home with you. Withdrawals, incompletes, and denials, send all of those requests by email to Cynthia, not Salesforce task, so that everybody's doing them the same. She is in Salesforce, but she doesn't live in Salesforce like we do. So email is best.
So we don't send it to Lisa anymore. What about denials? Do we send to Ashley still or no?
The denials, Ashley needs to be notified. How do you want to be notified of the denials, Ashley?
Yeah, I have it listed exactly out on the screen that you're on.
Okay.
Is it right there?
So email instead of Salesforce task, email the denials and the notice of incompletes to Ashley. And if Ashley's out of the office, send it to Jamie. But Cynthia is the one handling us. Make sure that you put the MyKey app number in the email. I'd put it in the subject line, denial or notice of incomplete, and then give them the information. They'll go pop into the loan, do their part. All right. I just wanted you to talk instead of me. We are going to do an internal audit. It's been a while since we've been audited. We've had a lot of employee changes and there's just been changes in general. When Guild does audits, sometimes we don't even know they're doing an audit because they're doing it corporately on our files, virtual, but we haven't had anybody show up in a while. And so I'm really, Ashley's got the checklist now and is going to be going around. You remember when you walk away from your computer, you need to lock your screen. You need to make sure you don't have, like on the copier, don't leave confidential information. If you've printed something, go get it off the copier. Oftentimes things are printed and they're left on the copier. And if an auditor were to walk in, we'd be in trouble because we got a denial letter sitting on a copier or whatever. Some of the other things that we are checking on, we got to get our gun posters out. So if any of you guys have satellite offices, the gun posters have to go there too. And all of the other compliance signs that have got to be put up. Those I think are pretty much the main things that you guys got to be very careful of. I wanted y'all to pay attention or remember, we get employee perks. It goes to my other folder, so I don't always see those, but we get a lot of really cool member discounts or employee discounts for excursions, for electronics, for rentals. If you guys are planning a vacation, go into perks and pull some of the coupon discounts that we get at hotels and rent cars. And I think I've even seen some flight discounts in the past. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. The customer communication, again, you guys, y'all make a choice every single day, whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day. Don't make it a bad day for somebody else because of poor communication. Set clear expectations, explain what you need and why you need it, and be very clear on when you need it. And what happens if they don't get it to us when you need it. Everything that we do is very time sensitive. But if a customer doesn't understand the urgency because you haven't clearly communicated to that to them, guess who it's on? It's on us. They don't know what we know. They don't know what they don't even know. So clearly communicate. It's how we built our branch. Some of the things to avoid, and the reason that I put this in there is one of the things, skipping a payment. We have a refinance right now in the system that is being worked, and the customer was promised to be able to skip 2 payments. And guess we didn't come in time for us to be able to do that. Title work. We had absolutely no control. But the customer was still told that they were going to be able to, hey, do a refinance with us and you'll skip 2 payments. And I know you guys are really good about saying, hey, listen, we'll try our very best. I can't promise anything because there's too much out of my control. And the things that are out of my control are this. So as they come in, I will keep you updated, let you know what's going on and what we can and can't do. Please don't promise something you have no control over, which is the majority of our project. Our loan process. So just be clear. Be
I'll
honest.
just say that on refinances, our team pretty much locks for 60 days. And then we always try to roll. We don't try to push it in the same month ever. And most of the time, not the next month. We go to the following month, the first week. And it really helps your ops staff too, because you're not pushing. Where's Tyler? Where's survey? Where's appraisal? And you've gotten through the end of the month. Those are all now clear to close. In your first week of the next month, you're closing and funding, maybe half your pipeline. And it just makes it easier on them too. They've had plenty of time to process that file. It does hurt our term time a little bit, but then the expectation of the skip payments is feasible. And if we need to extend a 60-day lock for 15 days, we can.
Yeah, but, and I know you guys you don't promise something you don't have any control over. You'll try your very best. And these are the things that we don't have any control over. We'll keep you updated every step of the way. So I know Tiffany does a really good job of continuing with that too. So just
But also in regards to that,
yeah.
all these borrowers have their payments set up on auto drafts.
Yes.
And so it's really important that we know ahead of time. I mean, you can't just call the bank that day and say, stop it. It doesn't work that way. There has to be some advance. I mean, I would say they need to stop the auto draft at least a week ahead of when their payment is scheduled.
I think
Because
it takes like 10 days. We tell the clients at disclosure, when they get their disclosure email, one of the things on their list that they have to do is that's what we tell them. If you have auto draft, cancel it now before this payment.
Yep.
we've been able to get a few of those refunded. We had one that was supposed to close on the 15th. And of course, that's rocking it pretty close to a
Yeah, it is.
penalty. So we didn't stop it in time. I mean, so we were able to get the refund, but
Also, when they cancel, they literally have to go, when they log in, they have to put all their banking information in again. They just can't go in there and cancel, confirm, log in or whatever. They have to enter all that information, which I think is crazy, but that's one of the steps they have to do in order to get it canceled.
Well, just be very clear. Keep it as simple as possible. No, people are very busy and overwhelmed. So waiting to the last minute to tell them to cancel and not explaining what all they have to have available to them whenever they sit down to do that cancel. You just clearly communicate all that information. I mean, if you're a busy mom and you finally got the kids in bed and you know you got to go in and log in, you got to remember your username and password to even log in, and then you get logged in and then it starts asking for bank account information that you don't have memorized. Like if they knew ahead of time, hey, click on this link, go in, but you're going to need this information handy so that you can get your draft canceled because it looks like we're going to be able to close in time.
Does somebody have a canned email on this with instructions?
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know that.
Sabrina, do you have a canned email? Will you send it?
No, because I don't really know the instructions. The only reason I know is because we had a client last month. It's a client that doesn't follow instructions. And they said they canceled their payment twice and they kept entering their banking. And I just couldn't believe. I was like, she's resetting it up again, but I just verified and confirmed with servicing that when they log in, there's just a button in there about their payment history. You go to cancel, but you do have to, they just have to enter their routing number and account number and confirm it, so.
Hey, BJ, can you see if Julie or somebody in servicing would send a screenshot to what that process looks like that we can send to customers?
And then I would
Screenshots
like
is
to
the
know,
best.
who is supposed to be setting this expectation? Like, are we supposed to be having this conversation with them up front? Is this happening in processing? I just don't want anything missed.
I always have, when we're talking to our refi clients, we talk about the 2 payments. We make sure we talk about the closing date. And then we tell them that second email we send to make sure they read that very carefully, that there's a list there. Plus there's tasks. You can add it as a task in My Mortgage, cancel your auto draft,
That's a
we
good
give-
idea.
We give them instructions. So if we're gonna close the first week of April and we disclose this loan, we will tell them to make sure they cancel their auto draft before their March payment comes out, so.
We'll see if we can get some screenshots, but that's a good idea. Set it up as a task because that's where we want people to go all the time for what they need in order to get their loan done. Yep. The credit reports, there's new pricing for the credit reports. I think that Mikey's already updated, hadn't it, Ashley?
It's updated. It just, if you have old files, you just have to make sure you switch it when you disclose. If it's
Okay.
still in there as the old one.
So need to stick the credit
Processing
report
fee
fee at
go up
15.
too? Did the processing fee go up too?
Yeah, it did, like 15 or 20 bucks or something like that.
Just for our region.
Yeah. You guys, mobile, my mortgage, I don't know about you guys, but I love that Guild to Go app and have been, using it. Whenever your agents print a pre-approval letter on the Guild to Go app, you'll get an email. So you'll know whenever that they print the letter and, are making an offer. But it's working just fine for us. So if any of you guys have not been pushing the Guild to Go, we really haven't had any issues with it, and neither of our agents are loving it. So there's some new products. Just know that we've got new products coming out. We should be able to do conventional loans on single wides. I'm getting more and more phone calls on single wides because they're
We can
out
do a
there and
single
they're-
wide USDA too.
Land, that's why, land.
yeah. And then we've got some, Nicole, we can do USDA single wides too. Nicole discovered that.
But then still, I thought that, I mean, most of your value has to be in house, right? Can't be in land.
We
It
do 'em a
depends.
lot
You gotta have
now.
comps that support it.
We do a single wide probably every month.
Yeah, because they're affordable living.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
affordable living and they usually get 1-2 acres or whatever and maybe an outbuilding,
Yep. And then we've got, you guys be sure to check out that Borrower Smart. Make sure you know how to use that program. Is that a service? Are we servicing that loan? Do y'all know? I think
I have no
so.
idea.
It's
I would think so,
$1,500.
since it's a Freddie Mac program and it's not a.
Yeah, I think
investor
so too.
program.
Yeah. It provides assistance for income qualifying borrowers up to $1,500 for those who complete the home counseling through the Home Ownership Preservation Foundation. So just know that there's more and more affordability products coming out just like that. So pay close attention, read the guidelines, don't be scared to try it. Anybody have anything else that they've learned? BJ is going to keep us posted on her favorite time of the month. Year, the favorite month of the year. Escrow analysis letters will be going to be going out. You guys, everybody's property taxes have gone up because values have gone up. I was talking to Brandy Landon yesterday. Those houses that were $165,000 brand new construction 2 years ago are now selling for $225,000. That is a huge increase. So someone who bought the house for $165,000 2 years ago is going to get a tax bill for a value that's much greater than they paid and much greater that are probably escrowed. There's a lot of people whose payments are about to jump big time and people are going to freak out. So we will all, so Sabrina, Ashley, Jamie, and I are going to get with BJ in the next week and figure out the best way to handle those phone calls because they're coming.
The appraisal district was actually sat in front of my house for 10 minutes last week because, they're going around taking pictures of new houses.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
when people call, and you take that call, just say, we have a servicing representative, our expert at our branch, tell them to send the letter. Is the letter in Blitz or AIQ that they get in their old loan, BJ?
Not always.
We need to come up, I think, Sabrina, with even more of a streamline and see what we can look up before we send it to BJ, like kind of have a checklist. I don't know, we got to streamline it because we have a lot between all of us in our servicing portfolio. I bet we have 1,800 people. And even if 10% call, that's a lot of phone calls in a 1 month period of time. And the
Well-
amount of research that BJ does on each one of them is sometimes 2 to 3 hours. And guess what? The appraisal district sent out copies of the bill twice to some of our customers. And sometimes it's a duplicate and sometimes it isn't.
So we definitely don't have 2 to 3 hours per client. So for sure, make sure you ask them, every client, to send the letter that they received and give them the expectation to give us at least 48 hours to research. Don't tell them it'll be tomorrow or today. Give us 48 hours. You can look up the CAD, you can look up their insurance, what was paid on the print inquiry screen. You get that letter from them. And then if we can't figure it out pretty quickly, then we can send all 3 of those things to BJ, the expert. So, but make sure you get everything and set the expectation, because there's going to be a whole lot of people about to bombard us next month. It starts in February and it continues all the way through April and sometimes beyond.
So what the appraisal district's doing right now is assessing the values for that statement that's going to come out in the next couple of months. So what they're receiving in February is from Guild after we have received the tax bill from the appraisal district and their insurance company. So it's analyzing what we paid out on their behalf last year. They're going to get a letter that says we either paid exactly what we collected or we paid more than what we collected and now you need to pay us back. That letter is just a fancy way of saying just that. And because we paid out what you, paid your bills on your behalf and the bills were more than what we collected, you've got a couple of options for paying us back. But guess what? Now we assume that your payment's going to, those bills are going to be the same or more this year. So we need to go ahead and increase your payment to cover the difference, even if they were to write a check for what they didn't pay for last year. So it's a very confusing time for customers. The letter is extremely confusing. And so we just need to get the information and help them out to the best of our ability. But at the end of the day, their payments are going up. And they do have to pay up the shortage.
The most important thing that you can do is include that loan number. I can't tell you how much time I spend trying to find Kevin Smith.
Okay.
No address. I can't search by phone number. I am in the blue.
Okay.
I have to call all these people before I do the research. Now we've just added another hour because they don't return the calls. I can't look up to find an email. They didn't give you an email. So that loan number is key to getting everything done efficiently.
Well, I would not send it to BJ unless you have that letter from the client.
Yes.
Get them to send the letter and say, once we receive this letter, because we don't get a copy of it, but we are willing to help you. We want to figure this out for you, but you have to send us that letter, either a picture on your phone, by email, whatever works. Send us the letter and then give us 48 hours from receipt of that letter and we will help you figure this out.
Perfect.
Yep.
And just to iterate that, we are so blessed to have BJ because
Oh, no other branch has a BJ, you guys. They don't have a BJ. They send people to the 800 number and then have screaming, pissed off customers storming through your door because they can't get anybody to answer their calls. So thank you, BJ, for doing that and doing it so well every single year.
Miller Lite coming your way.
Yeah, you guys, love language for BJ is Miller Lite. And what do you like to smoke, BJ?
Light 100s.
There, Light 100s and Miller Lite. Keeps BJ happy. She'll need lots of both. All right.
Did the internet just go down at the office?
I'm just talking. Like she asked me the
Yeah,
question.
I
was
guess
like,
they lost
yeah.
internet.
I guess they did. Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah.
Get
because
no reliable
everybody
internet.
remote is still here. Well, Nicole, oh, but it shows Nicole and Dylan are calling in on their phones or something. Well, meeting adjourned.
Okay. Back to work, I guess.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, have a good
Bye.
day.
Too.